I want to get into what it is that Raheem Mostert said to Colin Cowherd about Mike McDaniels, but I don't. Paul Maurice seems to walk a really good rope between being somebody who's really kind and really nice, but also not too much of a player's coach.
Yeah, so last night, this is like late in the first period, and this is from TNT Sports, and you got Panger. Darren Pang's doing the in-game interview with Paul Maurice. And it's funny because the Panthers lost 5-1 last night. Bobrovsky was actually really good. Two of them were empty net goals. Bob was really good. And so here is Paul Maurice on his team's effort. And apparently he lets everybody know that Bobrovsky's the only one who has showed up.
I don't like that turnover, Panger, at all. You can't play that game. Nobody plays that game and wins, so I don't like it.
Your goaltender's bailing you out. That's the good news.
Bobo's been fantastic, so we just got to get the rest of them. Maybe I'll get him up the ice in the middle, see if he can toe drag. He's the only guy with hands tonight.
He's got pretty good hands.
Bob, get up the ice.
Thanks, Coach.
I love that guy.
He's staring at the camera on the way out, too. He stares across the ice at the camera.
He's such a nice man, Paul Maurice. But he's so angry.
Was he mad there or was he doing bit?
No, he's angry. He's angry and he's trying not to be a dick.
He went from angry to let me do a little stand-up set here for you.
He plays both sides. I think Paul Maurice can be a hard ass. I agree with what you say. I don't think he's considered to be a player's coach.
Oh, but he's a nice man.
He's a very nice man.
So, but when I think of nice man, okay, let's do this real quick, okay? Because here are the comments from Raheem Mostert, and for Dolphin fans who want to partake in confirmation bias, he's saying all of the things that you would want said about Mike McDaniels now that it has failed and he is gone, and I legitimately fear what he's going to do next as a coordinator because he's clearly an inventive offensive mind. Like, I have rarely seen a coach in this market dismissed as a failure when he has shown me something that is a valuable skill set that is empirical. That man can coach offense. That is not up for dispute. So Mostert says to Colin Cowherd, quote, he's a great coach. If guys are talking, he'll listen and give them some advice. But head coach-wise, when you have a coach that is so player-friendly, it doesn't really mix all that well. Look at the coaches in history, not just in the NFL, of all of these different sports franchises. They have coaches that implement toughness, resilience, and that's something that he kind of missed the mark on in being a head coach. He called him nonchalant, laid back, a player's coach, and he said that players respond better to a head coach whose attitude is, we're getting the job done, and it's my way or the highway. I hate hearing a player say this because I'm constantly objecting to how it is that adult human beings are infantilized, that the guys with muscles need a brain to teach them toughness. Like, it bothers me. Yeah. And I understand why it is that it happens. I don't think of Pete Carroll as one example, as somebody who is so tough that he's not a player's coach. I think all of us here would want to work for a player's coach, and this Mostert is making it sound like he can't be great unless someone else makes him tough.
I'm sorry, I have to correct you. It's Mike McDaniel, not Mike McDaniels.
Yeah.
It's Josh McDaniels.
Right.
That's a Cuban thing, though, Trista. Like, we put S's at the end of things that don't need to be there. It's like the Heats. Like, sometimes we say things like that where it's just like, it comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's because he's Cuban.
That's a play on for me, Dan.
Thank you, Tony. I appreciate that, but I have been adding S's. This is an age thing. This is not a Spanish thing. Maybe I appreciate
it is a Spanish thing though.
I
my mom does
appreciate,
it too.
yeah, but it's an old person Spanish thing. If I call them, look, man, retire me on the spot if I start calling them the Miami Heats.
I'll let it play on for that.
Also, to kind of tie it back, Greg, you said that Paul Maurice is a hard-ass coach. Can you give me some examples of some soft-ass coaches?
Well, the argument right now is that Mike McDaniel was a soft-ass coach, right? I mean, that's what they're saying, but they're retrofit. Raheem Mostert is retrofitting that to McDaniel fizzling in the last couple of seasons. Raheem Mostert wasn't saying anything bad about Mike
20
McDaniel
touchdowns.
when he was scoring 20 touchdowns and when they were putting up 70 points on Denver and when Tua was made the Pro Bowl and everything looked good for a minute. But now that they've changed coaches, you look back and you say, all right, here's what happened. He was too soft.
But where are you guys on this, right? Because the problem with this to me is Mostert is now giving voice to something that most fans already thought about McDaniel, and furthermore, it's what most fans want their coach to be. They want their coach to be, especially in football, drill sergeant guy, military guy, and I don't think that works with today's 20-year-old.
Isn't that what got Brian Flores fired?
They went the opposite when someone was tough. I think that Brian Flores, though, was tough on everybody. He was also tough up. Like, tough down is one thing. If you're being tough up when the owner doesn't want you to be, I assure you, the owner doesn't want a hard ass with him.
That's why I'm scared to correct you.
The thing is, when you look at sports, when you look at politics, when you look at whatever it is, like, there's one side that gets in power, and then it's like, man, this doesn't work this way. Let's go the complete opposite way, right? Brian Flores was such a hard ass. We got to go to the complete opposite end of the spectrum and get a cool, laid-back guy from California. Now that doesn't work. Now you got to get somebody kind of in the middle. So it's like
Halfly.
Look at the same thing
He's
with
literally half.
literally. But like Denver had Mike Malone, hard ass coach, got him to a championship, won a championship. Then after that, fizzled out.
They did get literally, because he's also small. so they literally got the halfway point between McDaniel and Flores. They got someone who is half of both of them. I don't know. I know McDonald is boring, okay? And what is Sirianni? Like, help me, okay? Andy Reid doesn't strike me as somebody who's real. I mean, he gets into his fights with Travis Kelce, but I think that Andy Reid strikes me as friendly. I may just be doing that
You
on
don't
his
think hard-ass
body
Andy
type.
Reid?
No, you think hard-ass Dan Campbell. You think hard-ass Dan
But even
Campbell.
him, he's a player's coach.
Yeah, but he's a kneecap biter.
He is, that's true.
That's what you want publicly. That's why Jeff Hafley, in the wake of Mike McDaniel, that's why Jeff Hafley comes in and uses words like, we want to be physical, we want other teams to be afraid of us and not want to play us. That's what you have to say. That's coach speak, particularly when you're a coach replacing a coach who was considered
But do
soft.
you believe, like, the part that I'm most objecting to is that the people who have gotten to the top of that sport, okay, fighting other men for money with violence, the idea that the guy on the sideline is going to make them tougher, like, it bothers me. That the idea that the guy who looks like Pete Carroll or Andy Reid is going to make Patrick Mahomes tougher.
But then why do we have coaches? Why do we have people to push us? Like, why do
Because
we
somebody
have that?
has to control the minutes. Somebody has to manage the egos and the personalities. You can have discipline while being an ally. Look, you've heard me say this before, okay? I believe that these coaches are in charge, but should act for the very best players as administrative assistants. How can I help you be better? You're the one who's got the football. What can I do to make you be better? And I'll acknowledge that some guys need tough love, discipline, and maturity. But to say a whole locker room does, like, to say that it insults the locker room to say that all of those grown men who are tough and violent for a living aren't tough enough because the coach isn't making them tougher.
I think athletes in general still want to be fired up and inspired. That's why, whether it's from a player or a coach, that's why Ray Lewis's pregame speeches are legendary. Because athletes want that.
But Foxworth said he got tired of those after the first couple, that they all started to sound the same.
Right.
Like, not everyone needs that.
I mean, we used to hear the stories from Tim Hardaway, right, about Pat Riley. It's like, yeah, he's a great motivator. That's a shame for me.
I think the perfect storm of the coach that was needed, that wasn't necessarily needed, but needed a lot, was Mike Vrabel last year. Him being a player from that organization, a player's coach, and a little bit hard-assed it, worked wonders for the Patriots.
The McDaniel stuff from Raheem Mostert, though, I think is a little bit tired because, first couple years of McDaniel, winning 11 games, winning 10 games, postseason appearances, I don't know, seemed like the players were responding pretty well. And guess when the players didn't respond pretty well? When we realized that Mike McDaniel may not be as great a coach as the other guys, and, the offense was kind of figured out, and he wasn't able to, make the right adjustments. Plus, with Tyreek Hill getting hurt.
Okay, no. Wait a minute. Wait. Yeah, when their quarterback's brain was scrambled and their wide receiver no longer was fast, toughness is a problem now.
Yep.
Like, I mean, what are we doing?
No, you're right. That's why I think it's kind of lame what Raheem Mostert is saying here.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of revisionist history.
But the overarching issue here with coaches is that the Dolphins are in the exact polar position from the Heat. The Dolphins have been futile for 20 years. They've done no winning in 20 years, and therefore they cycle through these coaches every 4 or 5 years to try the next guy. With the Heat, it's just the opposite, which is why Spoelstra and Riley have built up such goodwill with everybody, with fans, with the media, because they have a track record. And when you look at the Heat and say, oh, they haven't won anything in the last 4 years because they've only reached a final and they've only reached play-in tournaments, that's a pretty high standard.
This is why it's also so shocking that Dan is calling for a serious conversation about Spo.
Yeah, it really is.
We got a crack staff back here working on a hard to soft coach meter. So we're gonna put all the NFL coaches in a meter, hard, soft,
or half.
I don't know what we're calling it.
We're going half in the middle.
Halfly. We're going to call in the middle halfly. We're going to. One of the things that
is there an E at the end of that halfly?
I'm going to put an S at the end of it.
Halflies
do appreciate discipline. Horses appreciate some forms of discipline. These are human beings, though, and that's why I'm objecting to the idea that you coach a locker room and everyone in it with my way or the highway, because I don't think that that's what Vrabel is. I think Vrabel I don't think that's what Dan Campbell is. I think the optics of that is how they present, because fans and media love when the team spokesman face and voice gives off, I'm in charge. But I do believe that if you ask Dan Campbell, he would tell you that all the time he's working to help his players, and that they love and respect him because they know that he's in charge, but also they know that he cares about them. Like, to me, that's what, when I talk about players coach, I want more of them, because if the coach cares about the employee, I would think that would get the maximum effort from the majority of employees. You're going to have a few talented stragglers who are immature and need to follow the rules. And so you put in the blanket rules of you're going to be on time and you're going to be punished when you're not on time. And that was a problem with McDaniel. I understand that. I don't think that the Dolphins weren't successful in Kansas City during a playoff game because their players were late to meetings. I don't think that that's what was happening. And I think you guys skip past some stuff on what happened to Tua, where all of a sudden their quarterback goes from statistically being Patrick Mahomes to somebody who's doing nothing but throwing the ball behind the line of scrimmage.